It's a new day and a new race here in the GB3 Championship at the iconic Brands Hatch circuit here in sunny Kent. We've gone from a very cold and overcast day yesterday to a nice warm day today. Lots of people here. I can see plenty of cars. To see the cars coming around one of the most iconic circuits again here in the United Kingdom. A great day for Alex Ninovic yesterday. Rodin Motorsport giving him a great car to put on an excellent performance as he continues to lead the championship in the GB3 Championship. And of course, Piers, we had Freddie Slater coming back, getting another podium, having only done 2 rounds so far of the championship.
Yeah, Slater was very impressive to come back in the championship and go well here in the, a car that he's only dabbled on this year, but I think we can only really concentrate on Alex Ninovic. Yesterday was one of the strongest performances I think I've seen in GB3 history. The dominance we saw yesterday from Ninovic. His teammates have been fast and with him all year, but yesterday he was head and shoulders above his teammates and everyone else and deserves to be leading the championship. Shows and has shown why, as Lewis made in commentary, why he's leading the championship. And, he's saying, Freddie Slater who, because Slater's come in and dominated at other points. Well, so far it's been Ninovic's weekend, but don't count out the likes of Slater or Fairclough or anyone else, because their drivers and teams can make changes overnight. We might see some different results today.
Well, we'll talk more about that race yesterday in just a second, but first of all, let's remind ourselves as to what happened.
Highlights from round 16 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, as they all got into place in the grid order for the race at Brands Hatch, the 100th race of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. And of course, it was a good start from our championship leader, who would try and defend off from Deegan Fairclough. A poor start from the front row, though, for Freddie Slater, who dropped back into 4th position, almost into the clutches of Pat Huizenroder. But going full send around the outside at Druids, it was Slater who was retaking over 2nd position as he was trying to attack as well for the race lead. Ninovic, though, held strong and was able to keep the hill speed driver behind. Meanwhile, Deegan Fairclough and Pat Huizenroder would also do battle on the opening lap. Tom Panichka would run a little bit wide going through the first corner, was starting to feel the pressure a little bit from Reza Sawuthan, who was also feeling the pressure from Keanu Alazari. But the main pressure around the circuit was on the shoulders of Lucas Flusha, who was trying to keep Jack Sherwood at bay. Some mistakes late on in the race would see Sherwood off the road, and unfortunately it would cause a safety car. However, we would still have 2 laps of racing left to go, and Ninovic, with a perfectly executed restart, was able to pull a half-second margin over Freddie Slater. Great battling between Reza Sawuthan and Keanu Alazari would see them fighting over 12th position as hard as they could. Flynn Jacks would go off the road as well behind. Keanu Alazari down the inside to wrestle 12th position off of the clutches of Reza Sawuthan. And the 100th race under the GB3 banner would go the way of the championship leader. Alex Ninovic would be on top.
Yeah, well, we can see the standings. Alex Ninovic leading ahead of Patrick Huizenroder and Gianmarco Pradel, the 3 Australians, really dominating things this season in the GB3 Championship. Will McIntyre as well, with Keanu Alazari, who we saw on the podium a couple of times last time out at Silverstone. And actually, Alex Ninovic, I was watching him testing at the start of the season, and having not put a foot wrong yesterday, I was super impressed. Just by the kind of fine margins that can lead to a mistake, and I'm sure you know it more than I do as a former driver yourself, Piers. He was making a mistake. There was one little kind of accident he had at Donington, and put it into the barrier, and it was quite a big one. And it just kind of showed me that he's made his mistakes before the season started. He's really been pushing the car since they first got into this new GB3 car. And I guess once you get that out of the way, you know the limits of the car and you know the limits of the track when you've tested. That means you can put in performances like we saw from Alex.
Absolutely, and the drivers will have been pushing the limits when they were testing here a couple of weeks ago at the pre-event test. Ninovic was unsurprisingly very quick at that one as well, and that's when they can be a bit more risky, because when you've got a couple of weeks to the race weekend, if something does go wrong because you're pushing the envelope a little bit, the team have got time to get the parts, fix the car. It's not just as simple as sometimes as bolting a new part on. Sometimes they need to order the parts in. It's if you break the car badly, it takes a long time to fix. Whereas as soon as we get to the race weekend, stakes are a little higher. If you make a big mistake in qualifying, we've seen it in the past. I think it was Suter Arau last year, had a crash in qualifying, didn't make it out for the first race. We've seen it before. Whereas the drivers arrive this weekend, they have to be absolute pinpoint perfect from qualifying. Ninovic was that. I say pinpoint perfect from qualifying. From the second part of the first qualifying session, actually, when the red flag came out partway through the first qualifying run, he wasn't at the pole position. Somehow managed to go out in the last 5 minutes, banging a lap time, and then bested that again in the second part of qualifying, which sets the grid for this race. And the lap time was very impressive, a 17.6. fastest we've ever seen in GB3, and I think it's like the 5th or 6th fastest lap that's ever been done around here, or like of any class or something like that, and lap records.
I mean, it's super impressive, and as I say, margin for error is absolutely tiny here in GB3. We talked about Freddie Slater a lot. Obviously, Freddie Slater did come second yesterday. Deegan Fairclough on the podium. It's been a long time since he had a podium, and we talked about it with Deegan just after he got out of the car, but when you've dominated a series like he did last year, he's come into GB3 and he's not had it all his own way, basically. Setting records every weekend, it felt like last year. It must be quite difficult as a young driver to sort of come down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, we spoke about it a bit yesterday, didn't we? About having good people around you and having the preparation and the management behind you to put you in the right frame of mind is hugely important. And I think for situations like Deegan's gone through this year, where he's not had a bad year by any stretch, he's well in the championship hunt, he's in 6th place coming into this weekend. Not a bad year, but not the year he would have been hoping for. He would have been hoping to continue the form he had in British F4 last year, where, as you mentioned, he set records. But when drivers move up a series, they almost need to reset their expectations. It's a big step up from a Formula 4 level championship into GB3, both in terms of the speed of the cars, the competitiveness. I don't imagine it'll race against quite as many drivers from all over the world. So being able to mentally deal with that and then use that as fuel to then come back next year and do even better, or wherever he ends up next year, is then what creates a really strong and resilient racing driver. He's had good results, no doubt. Of course, podium yesterday, starting in 3rd place in this race, so a good chance for podium as well. We know he can overtake, we know he likes getting stuck in, but just piecing all the bits and pieces together and polishing it perfectly is what he'll be concentrating on for the final race of this year, going into next year.
It'll be interesting to see what Deegan can do for high-tech TGR. Now, families have always kind of been involved in motorsports, and we've never had brothers racing in the same series and also in the same team, have we? Before, we've had the Grand Force brothers, Joel and Linus, and that was GB3 and GB4. You pointed one out to me before as well?
Yeah, Zach and Noah Ping were GB3 and GB4 a couple of years ago as well. So we've had families in the paddock, but
yeah, we've got a family connection. The brothers are not only in the same championship, they're also racing in the same team, and Piers caught up with the Gonzalez brothers.
I'm here with some familiar looking faces. You guys joined us at Silverstone, back again for Brands Hatch. This is Patricio and Rodrigo Gonzalez.
Yes.
Make sure that I'm getting all the names in correctly. Guys, first of all, great to have you back in the championship. Secondly, we haven't had that many siblings in the championship, so cool to have you back. How has it been in the GB3 championship for you both so far?
I mean, right now it's been very challenging. It's very different to what we're used to. The cars here have downforce. The cars back in the US that we drove didn't have any. Different tracks. There's a lot more grip. It's a learning experience right now for us.
And Patricio, same sort of thing?
Yeah, same thing, especially the tracks. No, we don't have as much track time as everyone else, so we struggle a lot at the beginning. And we're starting to get more acclimatized to the things over here than in the US.
Of course, you've come a long way to come and race in the championship. What brought you to the championship? Why are you guys here?
We're here to learn as much as possible, gain as much experience, become the best form we can be. And I think the GB3 is the perfect championship to do that.
And this weekend you're with VRD Racing as well. Great team, we know they've been in the championship many years. How are they working with you? Have they been helpful so far?
Yeah, the team has been amazing with us, helping us every step of the way, and we're grateful to be here.
And it would be remiss of me, brothers in the same championship, racing for the same team. Of course, you're competitive with everyone else, but probably you guys more competitive with each other than anyone else?
Yeah, but we're also siblings and teammates, so we always try to help each other. Racing-wise, we always try to help each other in the track, never mess one another, instead always pushing together.
Amazing, and of course it would be good to have someone sharing the experience with you as well, someone you know so well.
It's amazing having your brother. If you manage to beat him, if not, it goes not as good in your house.
And who's going to come out on top this weekend?
Hopefully me.
Of course, I knew that was going to be the answer. Looking ahead, of course, you guys have come over the pond over here to race. Looking at the future, what are your aspirations? What do you want to achieve in your careers?
Obviously, right now we're in Europe. We're going to try to do as much as possible we can do here in Europe. Try to get F1 if it's possible. If not, we think realistically IndyCar is a more realistic goal, and that's something we can push.
And how do you think you're going to achieve that? What's your goals for the short term to medium term for that, Patricio?
I really don't know the future, but just focus on this right now. That's what we can do. and try your best at every moment.
Well, watch out for both Gonzalez brothers in the GB3 Championship and also Motorsport going forward. Guys, great to have you in the Championship. I hope you're enjoying racing the Championship so far. And we'll see you both as teammates this weekend at VRD Racing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they're not only together in the team, but they're also together on the grid, kind of. Rodrigo starting 18th, Patricio starting 19th on the grid with VRD for this upcoming race. Great to see the brothers over here getting to grips with the GB3 car. Also returning, another driver from, well, I mean, they're from South America. Nikita Johnson's from North America. The Americas, I think you called it the Americas. Nikita Johnson is back. He did 3 rounds in FIA F3, and he's back now doing GB3. A little bit of a tricky one for him this weekend, though, after what happened in qualifying.
Yeah, unfortunately, had a mechanical issue in qualifying, which meant he didn't really set any representative lap times. Driver that we expect to be at the very least inside the top 10, some often towards the front. He's had to fight his way through, but had a good recovery drive yesterday from pretty much the back, well, actually the back of the grid. Fought his way up, made 5 or 6 positions, got himself, I think he finished in about 15th place. He was 14th place, sorry Nikita, 14th place in the end. So he'll be looking to do the same again. Luck's not been on his side, unfortunately, for Nikita. Sometimes things go with you, sometimes things go against you. This has been one of those years for Nikita where maybe the rub of the green has been against him, but I spoke to him and he's taken it very stoically, you know, using it as an opportunity to build his resilience and hoping that potentially in future that the tide of luck might swing back his way and potentially when it matters more.
A very mature and level-headed guy, considering he's jumping in a different car all the time. And also, he's one of these great father-son connections with his dad, Obi. And, you know, they're traveling the world together and doing some cool stuff together. They love fishing together when they're not racing. They love being at racetracks. And also, last night I saw them, they were at the Big Easy at Blue Water, if anyone knows that, eating some kind of American food, so like a home away from home, which was pretty cool. Before they headed down and got themselves some shrimp and ribs, Piers caught up with Nikita yesterday.
Nikita, really unfortunate not to get the laps in quali. Mechanical failure meant you started from the back of the field in race 1, but you fought your way back as best you could in that first race.
Yeah, so it was a bit tough just after qualifying, you know, thinking that we could have probably had a good top 6, top 8. I think there was some big improvements coming from practice on the driving side and a little bit on what I wanted out of the car, but I can't thank the high-tech boys enough for getting the car already because, as you know, they had to take the whole engine out, put it back in, and redo everything. So it was cutting it a little bit close, but they got it all sorted, and the car ran perfect in the race.
And we saw you make some pretty tasty moves out there. I suppose the silver lining to the cloud of you not having qualifying is you're getting to practice your overtaking around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, which is notoriously not easy.
Yeah, so it's very difficult, especially with the back section, like turn 5, 6, 7, right around there, those 3 rights. It's just tough to follow in the high speed, so you have to really make it up in the braking into 1 and turn 2. So it was fun. It was just having to wait for the right opportunities and just bounce when they'd make a mistake.
Pace hasn't really been an issue throughout the season. You've been there or thereabouts when you've been with us, but it seems like things, you know, you haven't been rubbing enough, you know, lamps for genies and good luck. You know, what can you do to turn this luck around?
I'm not too sure. I mean, you know, we've gotten hit a few times or had car problems or something, and you know, going to F3, so I missed 2 rounds. So I don't know. We just have to go figure out how to be lucky and put a good, solid weekend together. So hopefully tomorrow the 2 races will be good. We get a lot of points in reverse grid, and then we go to Donington and qualify top 3 and go win. I'm really wanting a win in the GB3. So
of course, you've been here last year with us and you nearly got there, maybe again this year. Let's touch on that F3 just very briefly. Of course, you've sampled F3 a couple of times this year. I think there's a chance that you might even be doing some more later on. How is it going from, you know, proper F3, you know, just as a guest drive to then back in GB3? Does it take much time to get back used to the car? Is there much difference?
A little bit. I mean, I think the biggest difference are the tire grips. They're both Pirellis, but with FIA F3 is you have so much grip for 1 lap, so qualifying is right on the limit and you have a lot of grip. Compared to these tires, a little bit less grip, same as the Freca, you know, they have less grip. But the biggest thing is just the high speed. You know, when you come from a higher downforce car and come back to a lower downforce car, you have to kind of recalibrate everything. And that's a bit what I've struggled on, and I think most people that do that, either if they're going F3 back to Freca or GB3, or in the States going up and coming back down, they can relate that it's just very hard going from a higher downforce car to lesser.
Well, I'm sure you'll get used to it. Of course, you're joining us again for Donington, so we look forward to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you carve your way through the field again in race 2. I look forward to that one.
Thank you very much.
Nikita Johnson there, who will start last in the race but made up a lot of places yesterday. We spoke about brothers and family connections. His younger brother, also a racing driver as well. Obi, his dad, was telling me that, you know, if he's not there, he's not fishing, he's there supporting his younger brother as well. And Nikita, I'm sure, giving him some huge tips as well. Let's talk about another one of our drivers that's come in a bit like what the Gonzalez brothers are doing now. He came in at the end of 2023 to see if GB3 was the right fit for him, Patrick Herzenreuter. Then he did a full season last year. You might remember his hard rock car that was incredibly bright and vibrant on the grid.
Blue.
Miami Blue. And then obviously Patrick Herzenreuter doing another season now, second in the championship and really in that title fight, Piers. You've been impressed with him?
Yeah, Herzenreuter's been really good this year. He's not been spectacular on a number of occasions, but he's always been there or thereabouts, and ultimately that's a really important skill for these drivers to cultivate to be successful at winning championships and in their later career when they hope to be, you know, full professional racing drivers. Because at this stage, these drivers, they might, you know, on their bio, it might say professional racing driver, but they're not earning money yet. The hope of that is to become a professional racing driver. And Pat, you know, the number of top 10s, the number of top 5s he's had is very impressive. And he was quick coming into this weekend in the pre-event test, would have potentially hoped to have been taking pole, but even when he didn't take pole, you know, yesterday, 4th place, you know, when you're disappointed with 4th place, you know your level's pretty high.
Yeah, he'll start 4th on the grid for this upcoming race on the second row of the grid, and Piers caught up with him yesterday after said race.
Pat, race 1 done and dusted, a good result, not quite the podium that you would have wanted. Talk to us about, especially the start of the start, great launch, but couldn't quite hold it with Freddie.
Yeah, really good launch of the line. I mean, a fair bit of wheel spin, but, you know, better than everyone else, which is what you're looking for. And then got alongside Fred into turn 1, and everyone just crowded in a bit. So unfortunate not to get up the inside of him. I think next time I'll just keep my foot in it. And then, yeah, he's done a good job to get to P2. But then after that, around here it's pretty hard to overtake, and we'd all sort of drop back into our lap times respectively.
Yeah. Not too bad result for the championship. I know you're fighting on to try and get at least 2nd place and see what you can do with Alex Ninovic, although he's looking pretty unbeatable this weekend. I suppose, is the championship on your mind at this stage, or are you taking it one race at a time?
Oh, look, people ask you about it quite often, you know, what are you doing, what do you think about the championship? But, you know, whether you're coming first or coming last, you're still trying to do the best job you can do. Alex's package looks pretty nice to drive. So, you know, I'll just let him do his thing, but we just can focus on ourselves and, yeah, at least pull points for P2 in the championship, which I did in the last race. So.
Yeah, it looks like as a team as well, you're really gelling at this later stage in the season. A new team to GB3, of course, the new car this year as well. As a team, it looks like you're really taking steps forward.
Yeah, it's been good fun this season, you know, developing a new car with new people, building those relationships. So very happy with that. And for sure in the last few rounds, we've taken big steps. Had a cracker at Zandvoort, struggled a little bit, and now we're back at the pointy end.
And you like this circuit as well?
Yeah, I love it out the back there.
Pat, we'll see how you get on in the race 2 and 3. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Patrick Herzenreuter from XL Motorsport. Hello to everyone watching Down Under. A lot of Australian interest in the championship this year, and a lot of Australian drivers doing it incredibly well. Patrick currently second in the championship going into this second race of the weekend. And a lot of people watching all around the world. If you're maybe supporting the Gonzalez brothers or one of the Australian drivers, or maybe Kiani Al-Azari from the Middle East, you might not have a full picture of the new GB3 car for this year. It's a seriously impressive bit of kit. And to fill you in a little bit more, here's Lewis McGlade.
The GB3 Championship introduces a new car to the series for 2025, the Tata's MSV GB3025. The new machine is a serious upgrade in the previous generation, with more downforce, greater power and innovations not previously seen at this level of motorsport. Key safety upgrades are also included, like the titanium halo, new front and rear crash structures, revised anti-intrusion panels and improved head and leg protection, meaning the car meets the latest FIA standards. Equipped with an F1-inspired aerodynamics package, adding 35% more downforce at the same drag level compared to the outgoing car, with new bespoke front and rear wing assemblies, powerful underbody aerodynamics and CFD-optimised aero surfaces. The most notable addition is the inclusion of the rear wing drag reduction system for the first time in GB3. The naturally aspirated 2-litre 4-cylinder mount-tune engine has received a 30 horsepower boost up to 280 horsepower, while additional grip is produced by the Pirelli tyres, which are now 2 inches wider all round. And that's the new car for GB3 in 2025. The GB3 Championship returns to West Kingsdown in Kent to the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, the scene of the season finale last year. Great overtaking opportunities with that run through Paddock Hill up towards Druids, of course back down the hill into Graham Hill Bend. The run along the backstretch past the back end of the pit lane goes into the first DRS detection and then activation point as we go down Pilgrim's Drop and then rising up Hawthorns Hill through Hawthorns Bend. Westfield Bend, the right hander, then takes us back down through Dingledale before we rise up through Sheens, and then of course the penultimate corner at Stirling's and that run down to the second DRS detection point, which takes us through Clark Curve and then back out onto the start-finish straight. A very tricky circuit, a very narrow circuit, but one that you can rise up the order if you are brave enough. But of course, qualifying and track position is absolutely key to a good weekend around here. Very narrow and very bumpy, 30 metres of elevation around the 11 turns of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, about 2.5 miles in totality, and very tricky to get right.
Let's ride on board the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit with JHR Development's Kai Darianani. Paddock Hill Bend coming up first, massive undulation change downhill through the exit. The car bottoms out until we head up towards Druids, braking in a straight line diagonally to the apex, hug the curb on the right hand side and then full power out to the curb on the left. Immediately to the right hand side to open up the downhill entry off camber apex of Graham Hill Bend. FIA track limits here this weekend, so 2 wheels over the curb is fine as long as 1 wheel is on the circuit. Surtees, a late apex, uphill at the exit, the curb comes up quickly, you can't run that otherwise the car will get pulled off the circuit. Now, the only straight part of this circuit, down Pilgrim's Drop up towards the massively fast Hawthorns corner, just a lift and a downshift for Kai on this lap, flat out through the apex, curbs comes up quickly on the left. Westfield next, technical corner, blind on entry, bumpy through the middle and exit. Do not use the curb on the left-hand side. It's a one-way ticket to the barrier. Next up, Sheen, blind entry, committed to the middle, a bit of a wobble of oversteer, immediately to the right-hand side to open up Stirling's. Banked on the entry, track flattens out on the exit. Do not use too much of that curb on the exit once again. One more corner to go, Clark Curve and Clearways. Blind on entry once again, you have to be at full power before you can see the exit, trusting the grip of this GB3 car, and that's a lap in under 1 minute 20 seconds of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
Well, here we go. Just looking at the car of Deegan Fairclough just here. This is Deegan Fairclough, isn't it? Yes, it is. Not in the car. Oh, he is in the car. I didn't think he was in the car there for a second. Yeah, we're amazing. It was kind of overcast and we were unsure as to, you know, whether it would be another gloom. The sun's out. This must be the kind of thing that when you're a driver, you wake up and open the curtains and think.
Well, it is perfect for all the fans here out today here at the pre-circuit attendance, and they're going to be treated to a very good GB3 race in a few moments. I think we've got a bit of a delay at the moment though.
That's fine. That means me and you get more airtime, Piers. We get that's no problem. We can see Freddie Slater here, then the very, very striking red and black car, number 27. So he's obviously, you know, come back into the championship having been away and done some amazing things. It must be quite hard as a driver to dip out of a championship and then drive a different car and then dip into another one and drive a car that's kind of similar but also has different characteristics. He was saying yesterday the FIA F3 car has a lot more downforce. Yeah,
and also the tyres are different as well, and I think it's not to be understated, the drivers that we've got in this championship that do a number of different categories. It's so hard to jump from one car into another with limited track time and then be absolutely on the pace, and there's a number of drivers. We've spoken to Nikita Johnson already this weekend. He's been flying backwards and forwards to the States and also sampled FIA Formula 3. Freddie Slater we've spoken to as well, who's done the same thing, and it's just trying to actually maximise it out of the specific car. And each weekend when you're learning a new car effectively or relearning it every weekend is tricky for the drivers.
We're looking at the cars here of well, we've got some great drivers actually here. Jean-Marc Pradel, Hiyu Yamakoshi, who's back actually as well from doing FRECA in Europe as well, and Kai Darianani. Yamakoshi's another driver that's kind of like driven another car and come back in, and it'd be interesting to see what he can do in this race.
Yeah, I've actually been very impressed with Hiyu Yamakoshi. You know, he jumped in and out of the championship, kind of like Freddie Slater's done. But when he's been in the championship, very, very fast. And for a driver that's come, you know, all the way from Asia into a different culture, let alone different race circuits, he's doing very, very well. Only a few tenths away from Freddie, who's got a lot more experience in this area of the world in racing for the same team, Hillspeed. Been very impressive, and you know, his pace has been good. He's had some good results previously. I think he had, you know, 4th in the reverse grid, a 5th when he joined us in Spa in this very race. But then, you know, 6th place yesterday, he could even go better today after gaining a bit more experience, because this is one of the circuits, and he's an example of a driver that won't have raced a huge amount around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit because it gets used so little throughout the year.
I think he's starting, is it 5th in this race? You've got the notes in front of you there. 6th in this race, and then Jean-Marc Pradel just start behind him. Obviously, it must be hard as well when your teammate is doing really well. Obviously, Alex Ninovic storming things at the moment in the GB3 Championship. You see the number 21 car here that we're looking at now, the roading car of Jean-Marc Pradel. It must be a bit frustrating when you're not quite up there.
Of course it is. You know, your first reference as a driver in a championship is your teammate if you have them. And when your teammate is outperforming you, it doesn't feel good, but you can use it as a learning opportunity, because the results, of course, over race weekends and your championship seasons are hugely important for, you know, getting credibility in the sport, but also you're trying to build yourself as a driver and build your skills and build how good you are, basically. And you can learn off really strong performances like Alex Ninovic, and Pradel will have direct comparison in terms of data behind the scenes and car setup and the way he's driving to Alex Ninovic, and he'll use that to improve himself and get closer to Ninovic this weekend, but also be better prepared when he comes back here or goes to other circuits, because he'll know what driving techniques Ninovic is using, how he's getting the time out of the car, and he'll know that, you know, it's in the car, so it almost gives you an incentive to know, right, actually there's time to be found. Because sometimes when you're on your own or you don't have teammates, you think you're achieving all you can, but all it takes is someone to drive the same car and go a bit quicker to open a new door for you.
And of course, for Abby Pulling, the 3rd member of that team, good data, good learning for her as well, so that's helping Abby. Now, as I said earlier, you know, you might be new to the championship, watching some drivers from around the world. We've seen the car. Just to give you a full picture of the GB3 Championship as a whole, here's Lewis McGlade again.
The GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, is run by MSV's racing arm, MSVR. The 2025 season will consist of a maximum of 30 drivers across 10 teams, driving the brand new Tatuus MSV GB3 025 car. Each race weekend consists of 2 15-minute qualifying sessions, held back-to-back on Saturday, and 3 races, each of 25 minutes in duration. The grid for race 1 is decided by the first part of qualifying, and the grid for race 2 is formed by the times achieved in the second qualifying session. The third contest features the top 12 drivers from qualifying reversed on the grid, with the rest of the drivers lining up behind them in their qualifying order. There are 24 races across the season, including overseas trips to Zandvoort, Spa-Francorchamps, the Hungaroring and Monza, which is this year's season finale. The Canada starts in Silverstone this weekend, before the first of the year's overseas events in the Netherlands and Belgium in May, and the return to Hungary in July. The traditional second Silverstone event and the visit to the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit both take place in August, before the penultimate rounds of the season at Donington Park at the start of October, and then the season showdown in Italy a fortnight later. There are no required pit stops in GB3, but each car is only allowed to use a maximum of 8 tyres per race weekend, the equivalent of 2 sets, meaning tyre management is critical. The prizes for GB3 include FIA Super Licence points for the top 5 drivers in this year's championship, a critical requirement for drivers aiming for Formula 1. Any driver looking to compete in Formula 1 must have accrued 40 Super Licence points over a 3-year period, and this year's GB3 champion will receive 10 points. The Jack Cavill Pole Position Cup also returns, which awards each driver securing a pole position in qualifying with a cheque of £300 and a trophy. The driver with the most poles at the end of the season receives a trophy and an extra £2,000, as does the team of the driver with the most poles. The Omologato One to Watch award will again be presented to the drivers at each round, with a prize watch on offer every weekend for the highest scoring driver across the first 2 races.
So we're in the assembly area here before the cars go out. Piers, just explain the process of a driver getting ready for a race and the kind of different things you've got to do, because you've got to start down in the lower paddock here and make your way here, and I'm sure there's other things as well.
Yeah, it sounds like quite an easy thing, you know, just get the car here and get yourself ready, but it's actually for a driver quite an important process for your mental state as well. The drivers will use themselves getting ready as like getting themselves in the right frame of mind, getting themselves in the right, I don't know, right brain waves even, as a lot of the drivers will do, you know, mental training to get themselves to perform at their best. And it starts with getting your kit on, which is not easy either, because it's you know, fireproof underwear, then fireproof overalls, your boots, your gloves, your helmet, everything like that. The drivers will get their cars, drive up here, and then once they're in the assembly area and we've got a pause like this, some of the drivers jump out and try and relax. Other drivers like to stay in the car and stay in the zone, and not getting thrown off by different situations is important. for situations like this. But then you need to be able to fire yourself on. Mentally, these drivers are operating at absolute capacity when they're racing around the circuit like Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. And if you're not in the right frame of mind, you're going to, fluff your start. You might make a mistake. That. And the margins are so fine. We saw it yesterday. I think it was Jack Sherwood just dropped a wheel, over the white line through Sheen yesterday. Lost all the positions he'd gained through qualifying and the start of the race. And other drivers absolutely nailed it. And Alex Ninovich, he nailed the start and pulled away. And he was clearly in a good state. So that whole process from it's time to get ready all the way through to the start lights going out is hugely important. And a lot of the drivers will have a routine.
Given the performance and the concentration we've seen from Alex Ninovich starting on pole position again, do you think a delay like this will actually affect him much, given that we have seen some serious mental and physical strength to drive these cars so well?
Do you know what? I think if anyone's going to be affected in this race by the stoppage we've got or the change of situation, it's probably not going to be Alex Ninovich. When he's qualified
4 tenths.
I think it's nearly 4.5, 5 tenths clear of the rest of the field. He's shown he can repeat that in the qualifying yesterday. I don't imagine they'll have made a huge amount of changes to the car, so we'll know what the car's going to feel like. He's confident this weekend. It's when you're you're not sure about how it's going to go. You've made changes to the car. Your first race didn't go well. That's when potentially there's cracks in the armour that then things can pry open, or your rivals can maybe make the most of. But yeah, Ninovich, I think, is going to be sitting there pretty chilled at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He's already taken the trophy and the money that comes with the Jack Havel Pole Position Cup. And Piers caught up with him yesterday to discuss how he was feeling after a very, very successful qualifying.
Alex, pole position race 1, pole position race 2 at a world famous and challenging track. You must be very happy.
Yeah, really happy with the result today. I knew the car had the pace, I knew I had the pace, and I sort of kept nice and calm before qualifying. I knew that as long as I put it together, we would be at the front. And the first half of Q1 wasn't going too well. We caught a lot of traffic and just a little bit unlucky on track positioning, but then there was a red flag, went out again, and then obviously showed what I had, and went straight to the top and held that, and then did the same in Q2, same setup, just go again and try and tweak up on a few little mistakes I made, and again 4 tenths to P2 and then a second to P4 and P5 is a massive gap. So I can't be thankful enough to the team Rodin Motorsport and Rodin Cars for the support, and obviously showed this weekend that we can be right at the front.
Well, I don't know whether you know or not, but that's the pole position record by over 5 tenths, fastest GB3 lap we've ever had in a qualifying session in qualifying 2. Qualifying 1, though, you mentioned it a moment ago, it didn't go all your way. At the red flag, after you've had your first new tyre run, you're actually not anywhere near the front of the order. You came out again, and traditionally the Pirelli tyres work best when they're brand new. Where did you find that time?
Yeah, well, I think I didn't take much life out of the tyre in the first stint because of just a few unfortunate circumstances. But once we went out again, the tyres were there, the grip was there, and I maximised what I had, and went straight to the front. And the first bit of it wasn't that great, bit on my side, bit on just the track, people on the track. But once we managed to go out again, put it all together, and straight to the front.
It must feel pretty good dragging these cars around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, with the sun out today and the new tyres and the grips going up, out the back, those high-speed corners with no runoff, it definitely gets quite rewarding when you get it right.
And then looking ahead to the races, best starting position for race 1 and race 2, I assume you're only thinking about wins?
Yeah, hopefully get a good start off pole and get a good gap, and then manage it from there. Hopefully stay consistent, make sure the car's in check, balance is nice, and manage it from there.
Perfect for the championship as well.
Yeah, definitely. Puts us in a really good spot.
Alex, congratulations. Double pole sitter for race 1 and race 2 this weekend at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
Thank you.
Yeah, very happy Alex Ninovich there with a little check in his pocket. Position Cup, and also as well. He's in the number 12 Rodin car. It's a black and white car, so be looking out for that one. It's pretty easy to spot. It's the one starting on pole position. We've got a little bit of a delay still. We're just trying to get some clarification on how long this delay is going to be. It could be a little bit longer, actually, so we're going to see what happens here. But as soon as we get that information, we'll bring it to you. Of course, the car just in the near ground, sort of behind Freddie Slater's car that we're looking at right now, is the car of Patrick Hudson-Reuter, who obviously we heard from a little bit earlier on, and I think starting from 4th, and given he was quickest in testing, He's going to really want to get on this podium and maybe even further up the podium today.
Do you know what? He was unlucky yesterday. I think of the drivers in the front two rows, he actually had the best start. He got he got alongside Freddie Slater, who was looking even potentially to make a move for second place, but just by the positioning of the cars and a good move from Slater around the outside of turn one, he remained in 4th place. And then we saw yesterday Slater going from 4th place into turn 1. Move around the outside into Druids for the lead. Didn't pull off in the end. That got him 2nd place. But I think Hoytson Roeder will be in a good mental state. He knows how he needs to start the car. Do the same as yesterday. He can get a good start. He'll have seen how the things play. He'll be maybe looking at that video last night and then making a different plan for today. He could be definitely challenging for a podium. I think pace-wise, maybe not quite as quick as the front 3, but he had the pace in testing, and if they've made a few changes overnight and he's gained a bit of experience, had a good start yesterday, he could be a genuine challenger for a podium, and that would be a great result for him because he's fighting for place in the championship.
With these drivers, we've just been sort of looking of Pat speaking with his race engineer. What kind of stuff is being said at this point? Because you've had your debrief after the last session, you'll have your sort of pre-race briefing, I'm guessing. What kind of stuff are they talking about? Right
now, it'll either be one or two things. Because we know we've got a delay, it'll either be updates on the delay, going to be 10 minutes, going to be 15 minutes. At the moment, we don't know how long it's going to be. Or it will like just chit chat. A lot of the engineers and the management and the people around the drivers will just be trying to take their mind off the race. We know we've got a little bit of a delay, so just relaxing for a bit and taking your mind off what's ahead can be a good thing, because if you just sit there and stew, you can almost mentally tire yourself out for the start of the race. So you'll see a lot of the jovialness. Some of the drivers may even jump out the cars shortly. At the moment, we're waiting on word, so everyone's still in the car waiting to go. But it's going to be, it's interesting to see the different drivers like different things as well. Some drivers are quicker to jump out and have a chat. Other drivers like to stay in the zone. But it's just part of where the psychology of your own drive and your own team comes into play.
And of course, drivers do hydrate massively, don't they, before the race? So having hydrated a lot means, if there is a delay, you might need to be running to the little boys' room.
Yeah, and also it looks like the drivers have been told to just jump on now, so that some of them may even go for a quick wee because they stay very hydrated over the weekends. So it looks like we're going to be a little while longer now, but that'll be a good opportunity for the drivers to cool down. These cars, it gets hot in there, it's very confined, you've got the radiator to either side of you, the heat soak from the engine when they're off as well. It can get quite uncomfortable, and it feels quite nice when you get out of the car and get some air around you, because you get quite sweaty in these.
Now, there's one British driver who I won't name, doesn't race in this championship, who likes a double espresso before he gets in the car. I mean, that to me sounds like it's probably good to hype you up, but also could be quite risky.
I mean, depends how you do. But a caffeinated man, but I know some drivers like to use some caffeine to get themselves revved up. It's famous who does that in Formula One. Other drivers, some of them 15 years old, maybe they haven't even had caffeine before. Who knows?
I'm sure maybe water is the main thing. I mean, you say you're uncaffeinated, and one of the first things Piers ever said to me was, "I'm uncaffeinated." And I was like, "Oh, you don't want a coffee then?" He was like, "Absolutely not. Just likes water." Yeah, I mean, obviously different drivers have different ways of doing it. What about food? I've seen drivers have bananas before they get in the car.
Yeah.
There was one driver, wasn't there, a few years ago that had something really weird before he got in the car. And I can't remember what it was. It might have been James Headley. It probably was James Headley, knowing him. But what kind of stuff? What are you eating? It wasn't the cake. The cake was his whole race weekend, wasn't it? The ingredients are like a cake.
Yes.
There's one driver. I think it was a banana. I can't remember what it is. What was your pre-race snack?
Well, the drivers will definitely fuel up over the night before, because it's spend a lot of energy driving these cars. You mentioned Nikita Johnson was at the Big Easy last night, getting the protein in to recover. But then throughout the day, they'll keep things light. You don't want any heavy foods that's stodgy, because they're pulling so many G's around these corners. If you have a big heavy meal, I mean, anyone at home will relate to that. You don't want to go for a run after. Well, this is effectively a similar sort of thing. So there'll be light meals, rice and chicken and stuff like that. And in fact, why don't we ask one of the drivers what their ritual is? We've got Pulse sister Alex Ninovich here. Alex, we were just discussing potentially what the drivers do over a race weekend, what they eat. What's your preparation look like?
Probably not as crazy as some others, but the last 3 nights I've been eating at the club that I train at, which they have all around the UK. So yeah, every night I've been having a smoothie and some sort of main meal, and for breakfast I've been having egg rolls, so maybe not the most healthiest thing, but it does the job.
It gets the protein, and that's for sure. Yeah. Talk to us about your mindset now. We've got a bit of a delay. John and I were just chatting about, it's quite important to sort of know when to mentally switch on, mentally switch off. We know we've got a delay now. What are you sort of thinking? Are you trying to switch off and relax for a bit?
Yeah, definitely get out of the car and cool down a little bit and get your mind back focused. It got quite hot in the car there and started to get a bit tired, but now I feel a bit more energised. So yeah, I think should be good once we get back in the car, and should be good to go.
Let's talk about the physicality of racing these cars. It's high G-force, they're very fast cars, a lot of grip, and especially around a bumpy, fast circuit like this, it's physically quite hard. That's where physical training comes into it, right?
Yeah, definitely. One of these tracks where you have to stay not only focused but physically strong throughout the whole race to be so precise. Yeah, definitely plays a big role in being consistent, and obviously finding that lap time out there where you might not think it is, but it's most likely probably in yourself.
And talking about lap time, you're the man that's been finding the most lap time this weekend. Absolutely blistering pace in qualifying. Matched that again yesterday. We haven't seen quite the dominant pace this year from like this weekend from you yet. We've seen you on pole before, but where's the extra pace come from this weekend?
To be honest, I don't really know exactly, but I guess it's just a combination of everything. I felt really comfortable leading up to the event, just knowing the track raced on here last year, and I knew the car was good, and I knew that I kind of liked that track as well. So yeah, I went out in qualifying and just drove how I thought I needed to, and everything came together really well. And obviously the margin to second was really big.
It was really big and quite impressive. And Jonathan and I were talking. I suggested that potentially you're probably one of the most relaxed drivers at this stage with this delay and everything, because you know everything's been going your way this weekend. You seem pretty relaxed to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think as long as we get the process right leading up to the start and get the start right and execute from there on in like we did yesterday, I think we should be in a good spot. Knowing starting off pole, you get a good position to lead, and yeah, I think as long as we get the start right and get a good turn 1 and turn 2, I think we should be fine.
Well, Alex pole sitter, we'll let you go and chill out and relax ahead of the race and keep cool, because you know you've got a lot of racing to do. I'm going to grab Pat Hoytson-Roeder next, I think. Pat Hoytson-Roeder's 4th place on the grid. Pat, we were just chatting when you couldn't hear us and saying that yesterday I actually thought you got the best start of everyone on the front 2 rows. Just the situation didn't quite play out, and I reckon that you probably had a look at the video to see what you could do better today.
Yeah, definitely kicked myself a bit going into turn 1 after watching the video, but you know, get a better start today and maybe jump the front row. So yeah, we'll see. But you know, everyone's got now a start under their belt, so yeah, just make sure I repeat and see what happens.
You had a front row seat for that attempted move around the outside of Druids from Freddie as well, which was quite tasty as well. You're hoping to replicate that, maybe go one better?
Yeah, definitely take some inspiration from it. It was in the back of my mind. I was just a bit far back from Deegan, unfortunately, so probably wasn't quite on his gearbox enough going into turn 2, so closed on the brakes, but you know, to roll a lot of speed around the outside, you need to be really alongside.
Yeah, and let's talk about the race as well. I think I said it a moment ago. I don't know if it's fair, but I think yesterday didn't quite have the pace of the front 3. Just dropped off a little bit. Have you made any changes overnight in terms of your driving setup, car setup, or to try and just bridge that gap a little bit?
Yeah, you're always tweaking the car. I mean, like whenever you're at a track, you're trying to improve it. Dropped off a little bit, but you know, overall lap time we're not that far off. So I think get on the pace a bit quicker today and see what we can do. But unfortunately, it's pretty hard to, once you get behind them, it's hard to get past them, but we'll see. Yeah,
dirty air, of course. And also the margins are so fine. We've seen all year it's been so close. And the circuit round here, you know, explain why it's harder to overtake round here than maybe some of the other circuits that we visit.
Yeah, just due to the nature of the track, you know, it's fast and flowing with not many straights, so the slipstream effect is less, but the dirty air is the same through the corners. And due to the higher speed in the corners, you get more dirty air coming off the car in front. So that's generally why we struggle to get a bit closer. But you know, anything's possible, and you know, eyes forward always.
And we've got DRS this year, which helps a little bit get a bit closer.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, helps the top speed. But I think Deegan and I both lost that on lap 2 yesterday.
No worries, Pat. We'll let you go and chill out for a bit, and I'll grab a word with Deegan Fairclough, who's starting 3rd on the grid in this one. Deegan, podium yesterday. You've not had as many podiums this year as you would have liked, but I think like this weekend you've got a bit of extra something.
Yeah, obviously this being a local, I love this circuit, probably my favourite circuit on the calendar. And yeah, it's so abrasive, and that's the thrill of this circuit. And yeah, we had the pace, and a few mistakes on my behalf in qualifying put us off P2 or P1 potentially. But Alex's pace yesterday was quite phenomenal, so fair play to him. And yeah, we had a really good start in race 1, and hopefully we can do the same today.
Another podium would be good for you. You've got experience racing, Alex. You guys went toe-to-toe last year. I mean, of course, you had a very, very strong year, but he was pushing you all the way. How different is it racing the same drivers in a different championship? You've moved, you know, not always in the same teams as well.
Well, it sucks losing, sucks getting beaten, but yeah, he's been quick all season so far, and I've had a bit of a roller coaster season so far, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the race coming up soon.
Yeah, you spoke about that roller coaster. It's been a difficult up and down year for yourself. You've had good pace, of course, at different points. Things haven't quite gone your way sometimes. What's your outlook for the rest of this year? Is it more sort of learning? Are you still trying to get results? You're in the championship hunt, sort of 6th place coming into this weekend.
Yep. Definitely keep our head screwed on and score consistent points. I mean, we ended off, well, we didn't end off Silverstone quite strong, but the pace was there, and we're still learning. So hopefully the next couple of races today and the last 2 rounds goes quite smoothly, and I want to get back on the top step quite soon.
Well, we'll see. Maybe even this race.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, you need a good start for that. Taking Fairclough there, going for 3rd place. We've got Hayu Yamakoshi, correct? Yes. Hiyu, my mistake. Hiyu Yamakoshi. Hiyu, was singing your praises a moment ago. It's a circuit you've not raced at a huge amount. It's a bit daunting coming here, but you've done very well. It's qualifying 6th place in this race.
Yeah, I mean, this track is really tricky. Like, it's really special for me. It's like very old stuff. The qualifying, I was quite surprised at P6. Actually, the people in before the red track and the fastest sector 3. I think it's very positive after the summer break. I mean, after summer break, I chilled a lot, and back to Japan by 1 week, and I gained 1 kilo easily. So but still P6 is fine. So still I'm running a lot in this track. Hopefully I can make some 1 position or 2 gaining position, and hopefully I have a nice podium chance today.
Yeah, luckily you've got, you're a slender man. You've got a bit of extra to put on. Japanese food is very popular here in the UK. It's very tasty. What's your favourite? Your ramen, sushi?
I'm a yakiniku. You know yakiniku?
I don't actually. What's that?
Like a barbecue. Like basically coming from Korean. A Korean barbecue. They're coming from yakiniku. It's like just beef and pork, chickens.
Hence the 1 kilo added.
Yeah, easily yes, and rice and beef and
But hey, you came back strong, I'm sure.
I think so. I hope so.
It's not hurt your lap times at all, has it? Well, anyway, let's talk about the race ahead.
Yeah.
6th place, good race yesterday. What can you do today?
Yesterday I had a little mistake in the start, so hopefully I have a nice start today, gaining 1 position or 2, even 2. Freddy had a bad start yesterday. He lost 2 positions, but still he gained 2 positions and then finished P2. So which is possible to gain 2 positions in the start, even more. So I will try that one. Those things. Let's see. Then my race pace wasn't bad, so.
It wasn't bad at all. Hiyu, thank you so much for chatting to us. I'll make sure I pronounce your name right in future. Apologies for that. Hiyu Yamakoshi. Starting from 6th place, Hill Speed driver. There we go. And we've got Reza Siruthan here as well. Reza, driver racing for Argenti with Prema. Reza, strong weekend out for yourself last time at Silverstone. Very different challenge here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, very different circuit. So Silverstone's got all the runoff in the world, and you've got very little runoff around here. But yeah, I love this circuit. Unfortunately, qualifying didn't go very well. Had a gearbox problem, but yeah, you've got to take it as it is and try and just make up the points in these races. Although the overtaking's hard around here, made up some places in the first race, and just try and do the same in this one.
It seems to me like this second half of the year, you've really taken a step forward in confidence. The way you're driving, the moves you were making at Silverstone. You look like you're really at one with the car, and that you've made a step forward with the team as well, a new team to the championship. Is that correct observation?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, some big steps in the team. I say because we have people coming from all different places, trying to get everyone to work together and stuff. But yeah, we're working really well now. Pace is showing it, and yeah, happy where we are.
And enjoying smashing a GB3 car around Brands Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, definitely. Dream to drive a high downforce car around here. So everything before has even been F4 Ginetta Juniors, which is nothing like this. So nice to drive a faster car.
Fast lap times around here as well. I think we're quicker than the 1970s and early 80s Formula 1 cars, which is pretty mental, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, especially when we're on the Indy on the Friday. But yeah, it's good fun around here.
Yeah, and it's quite a physical circuit as well. Bumpy around here, different challenge. Does this car feel different because you have to set the car up differently around here?
Yeah, a bit, just because it's so bumpy and the car bottoms out like in the middle of a high-speed corner and things like that. So you've got to set it up a bit differently, but it's fairly similar to other circuits.
You say bottoming out, of course, I used to drive myself. We know what that means intuitively, but for someone at home who's only ever driven a road car, explain what that feels like and why that is something that is necessary but also not ideal.
Just feels like you're being slammed into the ground, really, and you just lose a bit of straight line speed. So obviously you want the car as low as possible for straight line speed, but also you don't want to be bottoming out too much because then you cause resistance on the car. So yeah, it's not a nice feeling.
No, but let's talk about some of the undulation changes here. We've spoken about the bumps, but Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, I mean, Paddock Hill, you're literally dangling on the belts and slammed into the ground at the bottom, and then you've got Pilgrim's Drop and then out the back as well.
Yeah, no one really realises how much of a drop turn 1 is. I think my first ever time I did it in a Ginetta, I was terrified. I came out the pits, I was like, whoa, that's a big drop, especially in these cars when you come around so quickly. But yeah, you get used to it pretty quickly.
You do get used to it pretty quick, and you mentioned that qualifying didn't go exactly how you wanted. I think your pace in testing and pre-event test was probably stronger than that. So what can you do in this race to move forward from your grid position of 13?
Just good starts. I say the start line here is at a bit of a bend, so it makes the starts interesting, but got a good start yesterday, so I just want to replicate what we did and send some big moves.
Absolutely, we look forward to that. And just before we move on, you mentioned the start. It is a unique starting position here. I found it when I raced it quite difficult. Like, I didn't know whether I was going to go on the throttle or hold on the brake. What have you found that works best?
Definitely going to be holding on the brake because you're either facing up into the sky or facing down the hill. Yeah, just hold on the brakes and make sure your clutch control's good.
There we go. Do you drive on the road these days?
Yes.
Is that a bit of an extra help there?
Yeah, definitely.
Reza Siruthan for Siruthan.
Seaworthen.
Seaworthen. Sorry, Seaworthen. We'll get it eventually. We'll get it right. It's only you're the second driver I've pronounced wrong in this show, so don't worry about that. I'll let you go and chill out, get sort of mentally prepared for the race. We're going to bring in Flynn Jackson, who we caught up with yesterday. Flynn, I mentioned in that chat that we had earlier, I feel like you've definitely gained in confidence as the year's gone on, and it's a strong weekend for you this weekend so far.
Yeah, 100%. Even with where I'm starting today, obviously the position isn't great, but the feedback that I've gotten this weekend and the rate of improvement and what I've taken in has just been really good.
Yeah, and how are you enjoying the challenge of Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit as well?
Yeah, it's such a good track. I mean, you go around here, it's a 25-minute race, and it's just 17 laps. You get to about lap 10, you're like, oh my God, it's still going.
And what you say that it's physical. Is it what bits physically do you feel it in?
It's mainly just how bumpy this circuit is, just trying to hold on. And obviously you got big car, big weight, big load, big speed, and you're just trying to hold on as everything's shaking around you.
Yeah, and of course the neck as well, I suppose, around here. You train that, don't you?
100%, as much as I can.
Yeah, and how does one train their neck? Because this is maybe something that people at home who haven't raced before, you don't realise you actually need a quite strong neck, don't you? But it's vital to keep your head up, which holds your eyes.
Yeah, that is a good way of saying it. Hold your eyes and hold your concentration and everything. For me personally, the best way of training my neck is using my actual body strength. You try and find a way to hold your head up, and you lean against it with your head to see if you can build muscle there. But it's quite unorthodox.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something that many athletes have to do, is it? And especially, you need to be lean and strong, but then you make big old necks is interesting. This race starting from 17th place. How are you feeling?
High track to pass.
Flynn, I'm just getting word that you actually probably need to go and get ready because we might be going racing soon. So I'll let you go off there. Flynn Jacks for Elite Motorsport. We're going to grab a quick word here. Talk to us about how Abby's weekend's going so far from your perspective.
Not too bad, a little bit up and down like it's kind of been throughout this year. Free practice was really good was it yesterday? Feels like the weekend's been so long. And the race was all right yesterday as well. Qualifying could have been slightly better. It was all a bit manic, putting sectors together, which is hard to do around this track. But progress, it's we're slightly working our way back up to where we were at the start of the year, which is good.
Yeah. And Alice, of course, a lot of people know who you are, but for those who don't, how do you fit into things here, and especially with Abby as well?
Well, I don't know, you better ask Abby that question. I mean, mainly, I worked with her last year in F1 Academy, and obviously she won the championship there, so we've continued to work together this year, and what a big step it is coming from F1 Academy up to GB3, but Abby's loving every second of it, but there's still a lot to learn. She, jumped first in the new GB3 car same time as everyone else, but missed out on a lot of what happened last year towards the end of the year because F1 Academy didn't finish until December. So it was just trying to play a little bit of catch up. But here to just, remind her of the things that she needs to do and learn. And we've been around a long time, Piers, so I'd like to think we both know what we're talking about and passing on knowledge of everything. But no, it's just giving the support because it's so competitive. This championship's highly competitive, great cars, great teams that run in the championship, and you just need to try and learn and string it all together to make sure you get the best out of yourself, and that can be hard to do at times.
And learning is very important, of course, as these drivers. They're trying to get results, but learning is hugely important. No better person to learn off than Alex Ninovich, who's been on fire this weekend. Where's the pace that he's got? I mean, Abby's been not far off, but Alex is on fire.
We keep saying to Alex, look mate, you're going to give everybody else a chance. Well, this is not fair, but he is just comparing to Mr. Piastri, who's just calm, cool, and Alex is calm, cool. He just gets on, drives it. But he's doing a fantastic job, as is everyone at Road in Cars and Road in Motorsport. It's a great little team. We've got Gianmarco as well, and it's really nice. They all support each other, and yeah, they've got the great data because they've got the fastest data on the track to learn from too.
And and you can't give away any trade secrets, of course, from behind the scenes. But what sort of things are you working with Abby comparing to like Alex to get her closer comparatively?
I think mainly it's just sending the speed in, trusting the downforce. It's a big jump, as I said, from the downforce level from F1 Academy up to a GB3 car, and it's just trusting the speed. You know, slow speed, we're there. You know, sometimes we're quicker, but this is obviously a very high speed circuit, and there's a lot of the tracks that we go to a high speed. So it's improving, it's chipping away. You know, it's quite a daunting track here as well. It's just trusting that you need to turn in flat, and it's going to stick.
It's hugely confidence-based around here. I think we can both speak from experience. Yeah, maybe we didn't have the confidence. Which is, what are we talking about?
That's why we stood here.
Exactly right. Exactly. Alice Powell there, helping Abby, pulling along with everything behind the scenes. Unfortunately, the incident on circuit in the race before means that we are on a hold, and we don't know when we're going to go racing. So we're going to just hold on for a bit now. We'll keep you informed as best we can, but stick around for the GB3 race that will be happening hopefully soon.
old days of Top Gear. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, thank you very much for your patience and sticking with us here. We are still in the assembly area, but all the cars have now gone. This race has been delayed, so it will be taking place a little bit later on. We've got the British GT race coming up, which is just after lunch at a certain time. And at the moment, they're working out a revised timetable. So basically, keep an eye on the GB3 website, and that revised timetable will be published in due course. Hopefully, we will still have 2 GB3 races. Of course, the second race of the weekend is the one that was done by the second qualifying session. And then we have the reverse grid race as well. So we are still expecting to have those 2 races. It just will be a little bit later on. So thank you very much for your patience. Hope you enjoyed the pre-show at least. And check the GB3 website for all of the revised timetables in due course.